You're perfect. All right. So thank you guys so much for coming out. This is our last installment of the leadership series for this semester. In the spring, we're really hoping to push out some more content for you guys and more ways for us to stay connected, especially during COVID. So tonight we are accompanied by Alyssa Duncan. Alyssa is an alumni of Johnson and Wales University and was the Collegiate DECA executive president in 2016 and 2017. Currently, she resides on the South Shore of Massachusetts, and in her career, she works in recruiting and staffing, working with clients and candidates. She has always enjoyed working with others and seeing them succeed personally and professionally. So, without further ado, Miss Alyssa, if you'd like to take it away.
Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Nice to meet you. I'm so glad that I'm going to share my screen so you can see this. Yeah, so I'm so excited to be connecting with you guys. Adriana is a great person to work with, and I met her through DECA. We were actually just connecting before this call and said that we had a picture from Anaheim, so it's so funny how memories come back up. But yeah, today I'm going to be talking about our LinkedIn profile, how you can ramp yours up, or even if you don't have one, how it can be helpful to make one now or even after this. And feel free if you have any questions, we can definitely connect at the end and let me know if you can't see my screen at all. So yeah, we'll get started. So like Adriana said, I was the Collegiate DECA executive president in 2016 to 2017. It was a great experience, and I got to meet so many people and really learn all about LinkedIn utilizing it. So we'll get started. So I'm sure most of you or all of you have heard of LinkedIn, the social networking service. Really the goal is to just connect with world professionals. It helps you be successful in different areas, whether it be career or connecting with professionals in a different way. Here we go. And I apologize, it is a PDF and not a PowerPoint, so that's why I'm scrolling and not going to the next page. So different ways how LinkedIn can help you. It gives you industry insights. You can research companies in addition to people. So like if you're having an interview with someone, it gives you an opportunity to kind of see who the hiring manager is, their background, and be able to have a great conversation with them during the interview. You can find other professionals in the same industry as you, utilizing groups, sharing your thoughts and insights through LinkedIn's different publishing platforms. Tap into the knowledge of your network depending on different things that you follow, people you follow, or groups that you're involved with, and discover new career opportunities. You can search for jobs. You can even add job alerts on your LinkedIn to really utilize that feature. So when you're preparing to write your profile, you want to make sure that you select a photo that represents you professionally, and really just helps you stand. This is my example of myself. If you look me up on LinkedIn, this is mine. But make sure it's not blurry or no photo at all. So definitely putting a picture would be great. It also just kind of gives you, a more approachable look when people are connecting with you. I don't know if you've tried to connect with people on LinkedIn, and if they don't have a photo, you're like, is this person real or not? I don't know. So putting that on there is really helpful. Next up, you want to personalize it. And on your profile, you can, on the front page of your story is like your headline. So if you say like, you're a student or I'm a recruiter, so I'll put a staffing manager or recruiter. It's just a great way to show like your value or passion in one quick little blurb at the top. So when people initially connect with you or view your profile, that is what that they see. So you could say what you are, or who you help, how you can make their life or work better, and basically just giving proof that you're credible. Say if you go to college for accounting and then you get your CPA license, you can always put CPA and that headline as well. Here's my examples right here that I just gave you. So yeah, executive recruiter, speaker, author, anything that you want to share or even you could target it to something like if you're looking for, I'll just say on the accounting example, like if you're seeking an accounting position, you could always say seeking an opportunity as a CPA or at a public or private company. Next on your profile, you want to write your pitch. This is kind of like your elevator pitch, just to say who you are, what you've done. kind of describe like what motivates you, what you're skilled at. Just make it confident and describe your qualifications and goals. Include like your relevant work or extracurricular activities that you've done. Like if you've been in DECA, you can write that in there as well during the year, if you've received awards for it. It's really helpful to highlight that. This is my example here. It's just my about. It's a little bit long, but I just try and target it as what I'm doing now, what I've done, and kind of where you're looking to go is something to always base it off as too. Next up is if you add pictures and videos, you want to make sure that you're using photos, videos, presentations that really tie into your goal or what you're looking for. Like if you were in DECA and you wanted to share a picture of when you won an award, or if you were at a meeting or an event, you can always share that there as well. It's just a great way to show like employers and companies who you are, what you've done outside of even a work environment, or volunteering would be great to add on there too. If you've ever went to an event and helped out, that is awesome to add. If you've ever created a presentation for school that you really want to highlight, you can add that as you're featured on LinkedIn, so it's really great. And another thing is your prose. So you want to, under each thing, adding 2 to 3 concise sentences is really helpful, just to say, what you've done, or if you won any awards there as well. Describe like your major wins or projects for each position. Like if you were, I don't know, if you were an intern at a company, write what you did there, really 2 to 3 highlights of what you really were skilled at. The value that you brought to your team would be great as well. And then bring passion to it. So you want to be creative and show your personality. If you think about it, so many people are on LinkedIn and you're almost competing. Like if you're going for a job interview, you want to show the company or employer what stands out about you and why they should hire you. And sometimes just looking at online and you're looking at a screen, you can't really tell someone and how they are. So if you include things that can really showcase your personality, it's super helpful that way. And then on your profile, you can write different organizations. So this is my example of DECA that I added. This is under a tab in LinkedIn that you can add your organizations and where you're at. I always suggest adding as many that you're in, because the more that you add, the better. It's almost like a virtual resume that you're trying to show people that are looking at you without really publishing it. So it's really great. Next up is your education. So this is mine right here. I just added it. A couple little sentences on how I started at Johnson & Wales. I also said I, was in Collegiate DECA, the programs that I was in, just a quick little tidbit of what I did as my education. I have noticed that some people don't put their year right here, but I noticed that might be when you're later on in your career and you don't want to know if you don't want people to know when you're in school or not. But I add mine, so it's totally your call. And then volunteering causes. So you can add that as a section in your LinkedIn as well. And this is a link here, and I can share this with you guys after so you can have it. But they did a survey for LinkedIn, and they noticed that hiring managers consider volunteer experience equally as valuable as paid work, and that was 41%. And as I was doing research before, some people don't share their volunteer experience because they either think that it's not as valuable as like real paid work, but it actually is. And depending on what you do, someone could be involved in a volunteer or cause for many, many years. And that shows that you're, you're loyal, you're reliable, you're going to different events and really helping your community. So it's definitely a great thing to add on your account. Next up is skills and endorsements. I think you should add at least 5, but LinkedIn gives you 50. So go ahead and add all 50 if you want. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to ask people to endorse you for something as well, because as you can see, you can actually change to which ones that you want to be up there. But I think it goes by how many people endorse you at the top. So then it shows like your colleagues or your friends or people that you've worked with who's endorsed you for certain skills that you've added. And the more you add, the more people can endorse you for something. And it's really great because then you can see, oh, I'm going on this person's page. They're great at leadership. I'm going to add them in there. And then it kind of shows like a hiring manager, if they're looking at it, they're like, wow, you have so many people that endorse you for leadership. That's a good quality. Or like organizing, or if you work with someone like in an accounting in that space and they want to endorse you for accounting skills or QuickBooks, like that is great. It's kind of like a online recommendation if you want to look at it. Next up would be honors and awards. So some people add this differently. I've noticed whether you've received honors or awards in high school or college or different things that you've been participating in. I did notice that, and this might just be me, but you can't do a year range. You have to continuously add a new one in. So like if you've made Dean's List 4 years, you'd have to write Dean's List 4 times. You can't do like 2012 to 20, whatever, but it's still good to add in there just as another little section. And you can move your sections up so you can see where they're supposed to go. And then you can also include projects, and you can include, what you've worked on, whether it be academic work, internship projects, work experience. If you did a PowerPoint presentation for your class, or an end of the year project or senior project, those are great to add, especially if it's relating to what you want to do in your career. It's definitely great to add. And it can go back to even internships too. If you've worked on a team project with anybody, include that in there as well.
Can portfolios count?
I would add it. Yeah, I would add portfolios. You could even add that under projects or under featured work as well, because then featured would be at the top instead of having to scroll down. So I think that would be good. Next up would be recommendations. I need to do a better job at giving more recommendations myself on LinkedIn. But these are great just to reinforce the values that you've mentioned in your profile, whether you want to ask your managers, coworkers, colleagues, someone that you've worked with or known on a professional level. They're great for adding recommendations. Don't be afraid to ask people for them either. I've asked someone that I'm in the recruiting industry, and if I've helped a client or a candidate, and I, like I said, I need to be better at asking people for them as well, and is giving them, but don't hesitate to ask, because I'm sure everyone would want to help each other in a different way. So my tips and tricks is set up your anonymous profile viewing to explore. I personally, since I'm in the recruiting industry, mine is not anonymous because I want people to know that I'm looking at them. But it's totally up to you. Like if you're doing your research on companies or people that you want to look at, you can import your email contacts as connections, or just, if you type in like a group, if you typed in DECA and joined it, you can see the members and add them. So you definitely want to take advantage of groups. You want to create a custom URL so that when you add it to your resume, it can show like concisely of who you are instead of just a bunch of numbers and letters. And you can kind of change it up too, because I know some are taken from names. So mine's at the bottom just as an example. I was lucky my name was available. I know some people still have to put numbers after theirs. But yeah, it's really helpful. So yeah, I hope this was really helpful. I am definitely a big advocate for LinkedIn. Just a little example for you guys. Like I said, I was in the recruiting industry, but I will be starting a new position in January, and I was able to get this position through LinkedIn, just from connections that I've made. And depending on like the industry that you're in, you can make so many connections with people, and it could really help you in your career professionally and personally. So definitely recommend it. And I'd like to say, if anyone ever needs any help setting up their LinkedIn or want someone to look at it or anything, feel free to message me, and I'd be happy to take a look at it or help you guys in any way as well. Is there any questions?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So with LinkedIn, like I was always told that it's like really great to be very interactive on LinkedIn. So like I'm very guilty of liking everything, but I never really know what to comment half the time.
Mhm,
Like, do you have any recommendations? Because I don't want to sound unprofessional, but I also don't want to
mhm.
sound too formal when it's like with my classmates who are like celebrating their first job offer, like anything like that.
Yeah, I would. Well, the nice thing is that LinkedIn used to just have the like button, and now it has like the love, the celebrate, and all those buttons. So those are really nice too. I also felt the same way when I joined. I was like, oh, I need to make sure my grammar is accurate and everything. But now I always just comment like if I saw someone that got a new job, I'm like, oh my gosh, awesome, so happy for you. And that would be like a good thing to show your personality too. Like if you're like, wow, so happy for you, this is amazing. Like I think that's totally fine. Um, I mean, just like some things that I don't personally share on LinkedIn from a personal standpoint, I just don't share like things that I would share on Instagram or Facebook, but I share most of my professional things on LinkedIn. But yeah, definitely liking or commenting, because then when you like or comment something, it pops up on other people's feeds who are connected with them.
I know for my like, especially for my LinkedIn account, like I've been more the opposite. I've been a little more reserved.
Hmm.
The thing is, of course, I've been focusing more on my grades. I mean, I go
Yeah.
to NSU. That's thankfully with NSU Collegiate DECA. That's how it really got me into the job market. And something I definitely want to ask is, especially with internships and jobs, how good are they when they like accept you, or with applications? Because I've tried some of the applications, and it can always be very dicey.
Hmm. Are you referring to like applying on LinkedIn?
What do you mean?
Like are you referring to like the applying through LinkedIn?
Yes.
And yeah, so see, I've heard this too, that people don't see as high of a turnaround or as they do on Indeed, and I'm not too sure why. What I would do, and for my own personal experience, is if I applied to a certain company, I would go to that company and find the hiring manager or talent acquisition person and connect with them. And when you connect, I think you get 300 characters, and just say, hi, so and so, this is Daniel. I just applied to this position. I'm super excited. Please let me know if you need anything in advance. I appreciate your time and consideration. And then it kind of makes you stand out from other people that have applied, because I do agree that not many, you don't get much turnaround from it. And I wish there was, because there's a lot of good jobs posted, but
Right.
I think just any way that you could stand out from other applicants by connecting with people. And you can even connect with, like, if they said they have 5 talent acquisition people, connect with all 5 and just and just send them that
For
way. But
instance,
it
I
might
mean, I
be,
just applied for Spotify,
yeah.
for instance, and even though it's great lately with emails, though, I mean, I've been so busy with academics, I just spend much time
Yeah.
doing it. So what really comes down to sometimes is that, like, I haven't paid attention to the that aspect, like
Hmm.
with all the communication, because I let the other people see my
Hmm.
profile instead. But I'm more concerned about is, the job applications, because Handshake was definitely a little more effective
Hmm.
on the other hand.
Yeah, or you could always set your job alerts up on LinkedIn and then go to the company website and apply. Because I just suggest not applying to the same thing through different platforms. Um, but then if you apply to the website, you could still do the connection on LinkedIn. But then you know that it goes right to the person when you're applying on the company website. But I wish you good luck on that too, on your career search.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any other questions?
Um, Hi. Do
Hi.
companies think that it's really bad if you don't have an internship um like during your freshman or sophomore year of college, or when do you think it's a good time to start doing that?
Yeah, I would say sometimes it depends on the school too. Like for my college, you are only allowed to do an internship your junior and senior year. I think it doesn't hurt if you do them your freshman and sophomore year because it gives you more experience. But I definitely think that anything late junior or late junior or senior year would be what they'd be looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, do you think that they like potential jobs would care a lot if you're doing jobs like working at a camp or babysitting or something like that rather than doing an internship? Like, do they look down on things like that?
From my own personal experience from like hiring people into jobs, no, only because no matter what job you're in, if you're staying consistent with it, it shows that you're, a hard worker and you have consistency on your resume. So, and if you think about it, like if you were a babysitter or you worked at a camp and you did that for like 3 consecutive years, you have that much total experience versus just like a 2-month internship that you were doing. So yeah, I think it, to me, it didn't matter when I was hiring people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, if we don't have any more questions, then just quick thank you, Alyssa. Really appreciate you coming out and talking to us. If you guys have any other questions, you guys are more than welcome to reach out to Florida Collegiate DECA and I can get you Alyssa's contact information or the best way to reach her. Or I'm assuming you guys can send her a cold message on LinkedIn and really utilize that if you're okay with that. But thank you guys so much for attending tonight. As I mentioned, we're hoping to continue this into the spring semester as well. So if you guys have anything that you would like to see from Florida Collegiate DECA, please feel free to reach out. We are always looking for new suggestions, new guest speakers, and really just want to make sure that we're pushing content that you guys are interested in. So with that, thank you guys for coming out and enjoy the rest of your evenings.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.